Hello family, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E with Dividend Passport. Guys, today is another day that the Lord have made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Okay, now that is the scripture somewhere in there. Don't quote me on that. Okay, I did grow up in the church, but I'm not religious. Okay, I'm a what's it called? A preacher's kid. Okay, guys. So, to all of our new subscribers, I say thanks. I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel as we grow this community very slowly. Okay, guys. If you haven't joined our Discord, do join the Discord. The link is in the description. Join the Discord. Comment on whatever you feel like commenting on. If you want us to have a conversation, let's do that. Okay, guys. Be free to do what you like to do, but be courteous to others. Okay, we are here to grow a community of dividend investors who want to retire early and live off dividends. Guys, right now, my portfolio is a risky portfolio, but I am living off of my distributions. Okay, so I wanted to open this and put it out here so you guys can see, right? I am living off my distributions. And even though I don't have a lot of money invested, right? I know it says 250 in the description, and then in the screenshot it said 225. It's actually less than 225, I think. Looking at it, maybe a little bit over 225. Because my main portfolio right now, I think is about $205 or $204,000. Then I have like $8,000 or $9,000 in my cash management portfolio. Then I have another, including margins, another 15,000 plus in the other video. So it's a little bit over $25,000 with the combine of those portfolio. But if you take out that margin amount, it's like $4,000 in my kids' portfolio, and I got 10,000 in the other portfolio. So it's about $125,000, $130,000. So I'm pretty accurate. Because I don't want to calculate other people's money, because that's distributions, that's dividend, rather than not distributions, that's dividend. But in my cash management portfolio, which is the smaller portfolio, generated 700. That's coming. One day we'll get there. But $73.43. Okay. And then in my main portfolio, we did $8,000. 8,000. What's going on? $1,800 for this week. Now, the total income so far we have in the portfolio this month for the last 2 weeks is almost $4,000. So I just want to clarify that, okay? And then you see that Dividend Pilot is our tracker app that is coming soon. It's going to be out pretty soon. So I wanted to kind of put this out here, guys, okay? If you want to retire early, there's so many things you can do. It's depending on how much money you need. So like, look at my portfolio right now. We're generating this month, we're gonna generate probably close to 9,000, maybe more. Okay, depending on how well the market does. Okay, but if I didn't need $9,000, if I didn't need $7,000, let's say I only needed $3,000, right? I can adjust my risk level in my portfolio to just bring it in that $3,000 or $4,000, maybe $5,000 every month. Right, and that would be cutting down from a higher yield, whereas I got most of my position right now in WPay, to putting it into something else, maybe JEPI, JEPQ, GPIS, GPIQ, whatever the symbol is. Right, we'll be adding more money into those things, SCHD, stuff like that. I think right now, more than anything else, I'm gonna stop working on my SCHD to kind of get it going, and kind of add more money into my SCHD, right? To at least get it to where it's generating that $300 a quarter, because it's what I needed to do, $300 a quarter, and that's about $100 a month, right? I think I can get there with maybe about $50,000. Maybe less than that. We'll be able to get there. I don't think maybe 50 is too much. Maybe 25. Maybe let's say 25K will get us about what? It might not get us quite there. I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, right? Mm, that's 250. Maybe, I mean, 25,000 might not get us to that amount. Maybe 30,000. 30,000, maybe $35,000 might get us to $100 a month in distributions from SCHD, which would be about $100 a quarter. I mean, 300 a quarter. I'm just doing math in my head, guys. This is not math I've done on the calculator, so people can be like, "What are you talking about, Edwin?" This is just stuff I just did in my head to try to see um, how much it would take to get SCHD up there. Now, I'll be happy if I let's say if I had 100 grand right now ESCHD, um, that probably would bring in maybe $300 a month in distributions. Like I said, this is calculation off my head. Okay, so getting to that point where we can say, we good, right? But I mean, it's a work in progress, guys. We gotta start small. I know I'm thinking out loud right now, like I usually do when it comes to me having conversation with you guys. Now it's a weekend conversation. We can talk about anything over here. But the main thing I wanted to address was getting our distributions up, right? And me talking about folks want to retire early. If you want to retire early and you don't want to be in a risky situation like me, right? I mean, you can have a 10, a 5. I won't do less than 5, but you can have a 5 position portfolio where you kind of break things down between those 5 portfolios, not portfolio, but 5 positions. Um, that it's not like me that I have 30, 40, 50 positions in my portfolio, but I don't work on all of those positions at a time, right? I do, sometimes I do, right? But sometimes I pick one and then I'll focus on it. Like right now, I'm talking about SUSD. I will pick one and focus on it and start adding funds to that for that position to get it to that $100 a month, right? And once it gets there, then I can be like, okay, I don't have to add money to this no more because it already reached that goal that I'm trying to get it to, which is, I think that's JEPI or JEPQ, one of the two, right? But I need to work on the other one, which is less than $75 right now. I think it's about $75 a month. So I need to add to that position a little bit more to get it to $100 a month. And then once it get there, it might drop down because it fluctuates, but not as bad. But once it get to the $100 a month, then I'm good. I'm like, okay, I don't have to add no more funds to that particular distributions, to that particular position rather, sorry, so it can bring me more cash. So that's what I do with my portfolio. But I always come out here to try to encourage you guys to do what works for your portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Do what works for your portfolio. Because for me, it's the little things that matter, right? Even though I got WPay that bring in a lot of positions, but of course that's a big erosion also as it relates to that, right? So it's like, okay, how long are we gonna continue to deal with this before we like, okay, it's time for us to get out, and cut our losses, because really the money we're getting from that is our own money. It's not like our positions is doing better and then we get in distributions, right? So that's one thing you guys have to look at also. Now, I'm very, very transparent when I come out here. I don't want to tell you, oh, it's raining outside when it's actually sunny, okay? And I don't want to tell you, oh, it's sunny outside when it's actually raining. Everything I say on this channel is from my point of view, nobody else's. From my point of view. So I don't want to say, oh, well, yeah, you just doing that because such and such. No, this is from my point of view, how I see it. It might not be the quote unquote standard or professional way to say it, whatever, but this is not what we care about here, right? We care about being able to invest and get a return. So all of you guys out here investing your hard-earned money, trying to get to the next level. Now, covered call ETFs have changed a lot of things. We do have the riskier ones, like I always talk about, the extreme high yield, the lower yield, right? I mean the high yield, the extreme, the high, the mid, and the low. That's me. That's me. That's what I talk about. Okay. Other people say high yield, low yield. But I break them down into classifications because they got some of them that's way above that 50%. And they got some of them that below that 50%, right? And they got some of them that below that 12, 15, 10%. And they got some that below 5%, right? Like now, before back in the day, right? Like position like like SCHD, those guys was considered to be the higher yield positions. Can you believe that? Right? They were considered to be the higher yield positions. But now you got stuff out there like the alties that I don't invest in no more. The Misty that I don't invest in no more. Those guys are higher yield, but of course it's dangerous because it's the yield. You get that yield, but of course they get all that the NAV erosion that causes you to lose your principal, right? That is not the way we want to do things. Now, I invest in those riskier positions right now because I need cash. So I need a lot of more money than that I'm getting. So of course I have to stay in certain positions and keep my finger crossed that if that will help, right? That it will continue to get better, and then I can gradually move my stuff out of those positions as my responsibility goes down, or as I decide to get rid of asset and put that into my portfolio. But instead of just getting rid of asset, put it into my portfolio, I'm getting rid of asset, put it into my portfolio, and put it into safer positions, like I talked about earlier, like SCHD, JEPQ, VYM, some of those positions that I don't pay that much, but having some of my positions in those, and then have those guys, what just, I got them giving me their $100 a month consistently, then I'm good there, right? Because I don't need a lot to live the life that I live right now. I really don't. And even with the money that's coming in right now, within a couple of months, I'm not gonna need $7,000, $8,000 a month. I might need half of that to take care of my responsibilities, because of all the different changes that I'm making to my current lifestyle. So, guys, I always like to share what I'm doing because I hope that you guys will be like, okay, Edwin, yes, we're doing something similar or whatever, so we can get insights, right? Not just about what I'm doing, because I don't talk to you guys one-on-one. We don't have conversations. I would love to start doing that. I talked about that before, like having conversation with the people who subscribe to the channel. And I think the Sunday Talk video would be great to kind of have that conversation. It don't have to be a live. It can be a one-on-one conversation with me and somebody just talking, just like I'm doing now, asking questions, going back and forth. And guys, I don't know a lot of stuff in my top of my head. A lot of things I do, I research them. So a lot of times is, if I make a video or something that I talk about, like, oh, maybe I need to understand a little bit more about this, I go back and look it up and make sure I got, the right information to what I need to grow my portfolio, because I've been doing this for myself now for 5 years, right? And people can be like, well, your portfolio is going down in value. Yes, it is going down in value. It have gone down in value because I got rid of margins, right? And not only that, the property I'm in right now, I pay for that cash out of my portfolio. The property that I live in Villavicencio, I pay for that cash out of my portfolio. Half of that came out of my Roth, right? But I pay for that out of my portfolio, right? And I own that cash outright, no mortgage. Okay? Now, if you combine both of those together, that's over $300,000 that I spent on 2 properties in Colombia, right? And maybe I could have paid my house off in the U.S. and just have to deal with taxes, but I have paid off property in the U.S. also, okay? And now I'm sitting on like, you know what? Maybe it's time to get rid of those properties and sell them, right? But if you have a lot of equity, what's the best way to get equity out of property, right? The first one would be to refinance, because you don't pay taxes on loans, right? So I will refinance the property, pull maybe 80% out, maybe 75% out of the property, and the rest of that other 20% or 25% would be kind of like a collateral back end, whatever, for the loan, right? and then I'll have to pay mortgage again on that property. But the goal is to sell the property. But then it was like, well, Edwin, why did you take a loan out when you can just sell the property? Because let's say if I sell the property $150,000, I would have to pay taxes on $150,000. But if I sell the property, 80% of the $150,000, I only have to pay taxes on that 20% or 25% when I do sell, even though the property is worth more, because the rest of the money is going back to the bank, right? And I only have to pay taxes on, after I pay the agent, all that stuff, I only have to pay taxes on that small amount, 20% or 25% that is left after everything else said and done. It might be 15%. I won't have to pay taxes on that. Okay, guys. So that's how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Somebody like, okay, well, I got a house, outright, and I might, now that's the option that I might not be able to refinance because my credit is bad or whatever reason. There's a lot of other, there could be a lot of reasons where I won't be able to do that, right? Because guess what? I got people that will call me all the time, man, we want to buy your property cash. Okay, that's good. But guess what? They're going to lowball you. The property may be worth 150, they're going to offer you 90, right? If by the time you get done, you might sell for 110. Okay, and they got a $40,000 equity that they just got from your property because they bought it at a lower price, right? But if I go ahead and refinance, pull that money out, I'll be pulling out more than that $90,000 anyway. And then when I sell the property, I can pull that little 5, 10, 15% out. But then you can be like, well, Edwin, when you refinance the property, you still got to pay back the mortgage. Yes, I have a tenant in there that's going to pay, that's been paying the mortgage for the last 3 years. That's going to continue to pay the mortgage, right? Now, the one downside is, right, I bought that property 20 years ago for like $50,000, right? And I never refinanced it. I just paid it off. Now it's paid off 20 years later. If I go back to refinance that property, I'm not going to refinance it at $50,000 anymore, right? I got to refinance it at the current value, which is 150, 170, whatever the value is. Right? I got to refinance it at that value. Now the mortgage is going to be higher. And for that area, I mean, I am charging way less for rent than other people in the area. But still, I have a tenant who's been there for years, and I'm take care of the place, and they do a great job, take care of the property. If something broke, they call, I fix it. So I try not to up the rent too much to make them uncomfortable, to be like, he just care about money. So some years I would not upgrade the rent, more than maybe $25 a year. If they're doing, sometimes if they do 1 year, I'll do 50. If they do 2 years, I'll do 25. So get them to sign a longer lease to be in the property. But just to have them there and the person that take care of the place. So, you got to think about all that. If I refinance, yes, now I got to pay back the property, but the goal is to sell the property if I do refinance, right? So all these things to be going on in my head as I sit down, like, man, I need to put more money into something that is bringing me more money. Now, keep in mind, like I say, that property was bought at $59,000, right? That was the agreement. But of course, I paid more than the $59,000 because keep in mind, I have to pay the bank, right? That $59,000, $60,000, whatever. Then I have to pay HOA dues. Now, HOA dues is gotten so expensive. It's almost as much as I was paying for mortgage when I bought the property. Crazy work, guys. So a lot of things have changed. So sometimes it's like, what? It's just best to sell the property and be done with it. Put that money either back into the stock market, right? Because what? I'm bringing in maybe $1,200, $1,300 a month from that property. I'm paying HOA dues almost $400 a month, right? So now I'm bringing like $900. I have to put money aside to cover expenses when something happened to the apartment. So that's another $200-$300 a month, Then I have to pay taxes, right? That's about 200 something, 2,000 something plus dollars a year. And then when you add all the total different taxes, it's close to about $4,000 a year. So really, it's like after all said and done, it's not really bringing in a lot of money, right? Now it's an asset. If I can get a loan against it, yes, I can I can sell it, take that money, take that entire fund, right? Put it into maybe like a JEPI, a JEPQ, or whatever, right? That probably would generate close to, I don't know, maybe $800-900 a month. I don't know, maybe. I'm just thinking top of my head, right? Because of the yield, or maybe more, maybe a little bit more. Because I'm just doing that based on what I have in mind right now, in the JEPQ and JEPE that I have, right? So I think I got one position that got like 12,000, other one got like 10,000, something like that. One is generating a little bit over $100 a month, and the other one is like $80 a month plus. But to raise that number up, let's say, okay, I decided to say, you know what, we're gonna go from $100 a month to $1,000 a month, right? So now I have to add more money into those positions to get me to $100. To $1,000 a month. So if I got 12,000 in there, I got to put what 10 times, nine times more was in there to get me to $1,000 a month. But I don't have to deal with no phone call saying, hey, there's an issue with the property, the air conditioner is not working, which I get every year right before the summer, when the summer starts, right? I get that call on clockwork. Air conditioner is not working, it need to be serviced, or the bathroom is not flushing powerful enough. Guys, there's a lot of stuff that goes into these things that people don't tell you. Now, with the property on the Airbnb, I usually get, oh, the air conditioner, whoever rent the Airbnb, call, oh, the air conditioner is not cooling enough. But they don't tell you, oh, we have the window open while we're running the air conditioner. They don't tell you that, right? You put sensor to keep them from opening the windows. I have sensors, so if somebody open the window, the air conditioner cuts off. The people take the sensor off because it's battery that you mount close to the window. When you open the window, the sensor lets the air conditioner know, hey, the window is open, so don't come on. They would take, the sensor off and go set it down and put it and put it together. These are the kind of people you're dealing with, right? So, I have all these different things when people check into my property and say, hey, treat it as you would treat your own home. But then that don't even make sense, because some people don't give a crap about their own home. Some people just nasty. They don't care. And I have a strict no smoking policy. So if you smoke in this apartment, if we find out, you're gonna get kicked out. Whether you rent to Airbnb or whatever, the cops is gonna come, the security is gonna come, the cops is gonna come, and you're gonna get put out. That is no joke. I don't play about that. Even though I have the odor, I bought the machine just in case we get an idiot in here that would do that, to plug up. That will suck all of within 30 minutes, it will suck all of that smell out of the room. Now, I do run that every so often, because it helps get rid of the bugs in here also, because it sucked you can't turn that on and be in the apartment. It would literally cause zero problem, right? So when you turn that on, it's on an auto. It runs for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. You keep all the doors open, all the windows closed, and it sucks all of the oxygen out of the room, per se. And they kind of give it a smoke, right? That smoky smell out of the apartment. So we had to use it once just to test it. And this is the second year, so probably when I come back end of February, after my daughter's birthday, I'm probably going to run that before I leave again, because that does help with the bugs, kill the bugs. But good things is, since I've been here, I haven't seen a single bug in the apartment, and thank God for that, because at some point when they start spraying the rest of the apartments, they start running down from upstairs running downstairs and finding a way out into other people's apartments. So good thing is that's been eradicated, and I am happy about that. Now, guys, I tend to talk about my personal stuff on the weekends. I talk about personal stuff every day on this channel, but on the weekends, on Saturday, on Sunday, we talk about whatever. So usually I just talk about whatever is going on with me. I don't tell you guys everything. I tell you guys some stuff, but there's a lot going on that sometimes annoying, like this simple stuff, right? That people that works for you to figure, oh, you're not gonna find out. If you have an absentees owner who never show up to his property in 5 or 6 years, you can say, yeah, I can do whatever I want. The owner is not going to find out. But you got an owner that just pop in willy-nilly, right? Like I do. I would just pop in. So you never know. And when I come into my place, I check everything because guess what? It's my place. I pay for it. A lot of money. Okay? So if I come to my place, if something is not right, and you supposed to be the person who manages my place, who do you think I'm going to talk to? I'm going to talk to my wife. I'm going to talk to you because you are the person who I pay every single month to make sure if something is broken, for you to call me and say this is broken. If somebody asks you for something who pretends to be my friend, you'll call me and say, hey, your friend said I should give him this. If I don't tell you something, why would you take a word for somebody else that don't pay your salary to say, oh, Edwin told me to do this? I don't, that stuff pisses me off so much that sometimes it's like, it's not all Americans are good. It's not all Americans are bad. Right? And some of the people that I deal with on a daily basis, well, not some, all 99% of the people who stay in my apartment are Americans. Okay? And I don't have a problem with those folks, people. I wouldn't have a problem with the ones who pretend to say, oh man, you're my friend, let's be buddies, blah, blah, blah. Those are the people I have issues with because they want to use their friendship to take advantage of you, right? To make you think, oh, I'm doing you a favor by you letting me stay in your apartment for half price. You're doing me a favor for me to let you stay in my apartment for half price. And you're doing me a favor. How in God's green earth are you doing me a favor by me letting you stay in my apartment for half price, right? But you don't want to put a deposit should in case you overuse the light. You don't want to put in deposit should in case you damage something. Now on Airbnb, which we're back on Airbnb, I put the property back on Airbnb. On Airbnb, if something happened, yes, I can call Airbnb and say, look, we have a tenant here that broke something. That either the person is going to pay for it or Airbnb is going to charge their credit card and pay whatever the cost is. Just that simple. Guys. So it's like it's so many things when it comes to being a landlord. I bought this property as a vacation property, right? And we do come here. I come here once or twice by myself, and then I bring my girl and my daughter at least twice a year to enjoy themselves. But I is getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to sell this place, right? Because I can put that money back into my portfolio, right? That would be bringing me 200, not 200, but maybe about $2,500 a month. If I can sell this place, right, and put that money into my portfolio, I know for sure. And I'm not even talking about being in a risky WPay or whatever. No, I'm talking about being in a regular position like a JEPI, the JEPQ, SCHD. I can split that money between 4 different positions, right? That would be bringing me $2,000 a month. I know that, right? And I can keep it on not the low yield, not the below 5%, but I can keep it on the middle yield from 5% up to that 15, 10, 12% positions that don't have any issues with NAV erosion and all of those things, right? That would bring me $2,000 a month. And I won't have to deal with somebody calling me, send me a message in the middle of the night saying, oh, hey, the air conditioner is not cooling enough. Okay, can you send somebody out? right? But it's the same person that will live in the apartment for half price, but want to be like, oh, everybody thinks I'm the owner. Yes, everybody thinks you're the owner because you think that. Everybody know who owns the place. But this is how people think, right? Oh, I guess the guys tapes and stuff, and they think I own the place. People thinking you own the place and you own it and you own the place is two different things. What does it matter if the people think you own the place if you don't own the place? Uh, Guys, the video is getting long. I know I'm not mad today. No, I'm not mad. This is stuff that happened weeks ago, and today was one of those things like we're having a conversation, and I know I'm jumping between different topics, so I know you guys will be like, Edwin, what is really going on? No, I jump between topics and just kind of telling you guys some of the stuff that you have to deal with when you own rentals, especially when you are hands-on, right? If I had like a manager that I could trust that would deal with those things, then I won't. But usually when people renting the place that have my phone number or that use Airbnb, yeah, they message directly to Airbnb. Even though we have an on-site manager, they would not call the manager. They will call me if they have my number, or if it's through Airbnb, they will send a message to Airbnb. It will either come to me or it will go to my girl, right? Because now we kind of manage the place. I'm trying to leverage her, keep her busy, and have her do some things that she normally wouldn't do, and kind of give her the experience, to kind of deal with some of these things, right? Deal with people and stuff like that. And I get accused of being too harsh. I'm very harsh. That's what they tell me all the time. But if you tell somebody, if you say to somebody, you are responsible for this, for management of this apartment, it is your responsibility. Is that harsh words? To reiterate to somebody that, hey, you are the manager, you are responsible for anything that goes on in this place. And then the person say, you know what? Once I get your cooler back, or I'm going to talk to the man who took the cooler that I didn't tell you need to borrow the cooler, right? And give me, what did he give her? 60,000 pesos. That's like $15. Give her $15 after losing the cooler for a cooler that worth over $50. But I'm the one who been harsh. I didn't even say you're gonna pay for it. I didn't even say that in the message, right? But I'm saying like, hey, next time something like this happen, you're supposed to talk to me first before you give out stuff. Because all along I just thought, oh, the guy borrowed the thing and he took it, and because that was what been translated to me, right, through my girl. And then when I talked to the idiot, he like, I don't have your stuff. I already paid the woman for the stuff. Like, huh? You paid for the stuff? And she said, oh, well, I was saying the 64,000 pesos that he gave me. I don't need 64,000 pesos. 64,000 pesos can't pay for the cooler. You see, guys? So I'm giving you a little more detail, right? And I almost lost it because this dude, he pissed me off so much. I was ready to lay hands on this guy. Because I told him, I said, well, here, if I see you, I'm going to lay hands on you. And he's like, well, I know a lot of people, Edwin, and you don't know who I know. And I started laughing. I was like, you think I spent 7 years in Colombia and I don't know nobody, right? Because I stick to myself, you think I don't know anybody? And then he stopped talking. So guys, I try my best to be upright and transparent when it comes to other people, but everybody is not the same. Whether they're from America or they're from Colombia, a lot of people try to take advantage of you, especially when they think you are nice. Because when people think you are nice, they think you're stupid, right? They're like, oh, I can get over it. They use that word, oh, my friend, and they smile, they show like teeth and all that stuff. And other people would think, okay, this is a nice person, right? But when you the best way to check somebody to make sure they're fake, put stuff in writing and let them sign it. Let them agree to whatever they're saying to you. Put it in writing and say, okay, this is the contract. This is the agreement we're gonna have. Okay? And if you go past this, you have to pay this. And 9 out of 10 times, they're going to be like, nope, I don't want to do that. Let's go back to the way things were, or we don't have to sign the agreement where I can do whatever I want with your property. And if anything happened, I am not held responsible. But those are the people that will say, hey man, you my friend, right? When I stay in the same Cartagena, when I was building this apartment, fixing this apartment, me and my family was still at my friend's place. He lived right around the corner. Nice apartment, great view. It's 2 bedroom, but it's a little bigger than mine. Great view. Okay. But while I was in that apartment for that, I don't know how many weeks I was there, right? I paid light bill, water bill, gas bill, and anything that needed to be fixed in the apartment while I was there. Nothing that I broke. But if he said, man, I'm trying to do this, I'll fix it, I said, don't worry about it. I got it. Anything that he was trying to improve in his apartment, I fixed it. You know why? Because once, he's my friend. 2, he was giving me a place to stay where I didn't have to pay for anything. But if I was staying in another person's Airbnb, right, I would probably have paid less money per month because of what we're paying on the utilities, because this is a Stratus 6, Stratus 5, Stratus 6, whatever. It's a higher Stratus. So everything is expensive as far as utilities. So the money that I was spending on the utilities every month, gas, water, all that stuff, I mean, I wouldn't have paid that much compared to what I was paying for utility, right? I would pay a lot more if I was renting an Airbnb or someplace else, maybe smaller for a similar price per month, than what I was paying for light, water, and gas, right? And the peace of mind, take care of a friend's place. So if you have a friend that's you like, yo man, I need to use your apartment, my internet's down. I'm like, okay, there's nobody there for the next couple of days, so if you need to go there, let me know so I can block out the days. Because I don't want to say, oh, go to the apartment and then somebody come and rent the next 2 days and you can't have access to it. This is what friends do for friends, right? Because that's my friend. Because I know he taking care of me. So he know if I got stuff that he needs, I take care of him. But friendship is not one way where you just take from one person and the other person does nothing. Let's say I'm here. Yesterday my friend called and said, hey, yo, E, I got the guy working on the apartment. Can you go by there and take a look when he's done? I said, yeah, sure. Just let me know when he's going to be there so I can go. Today he called and said the guy didn't show up. Do you know anybody else? Yeah, I got people. I called my peoples and they're going to go tomorrow to fix the issue, right? And probably cheaper than the other person that was fixing the problem, because they fixed my place. My place been 2 years, no issues. We had an earthquake in Cartagena not too long ago, and still no issues. So I'm good there. Okay, guys. So there are a lot of things that go on in the background, right? That people don't know about, people don't tell you. But dealing with tenants, it's not all tenants are bad. I've had some horrible tenants. I got stories I can tell you. Okay, with the bugs and all this other stuff that you pretty much have to burn everything out of the place. Okay, even the carpet. That's why I don't have any carpets in my apartments anymore. Everything is hardwood. No more carpet because of that. Okay, and in my house, I don't even have, the only place in my house that have carpet is my theater room. That's it. Everywhere else is hardwood, bamboo, no carpet, nowhere else in the house. Okay? So guys, I know I've been talking now for almost an hour, but remember guys, this is not financial advice, okay? I do try my best to motivate you guys, and I'm not trying to scare you from being for home ownership or being a landlord. I'm not trying to scare you from that. Even with all this stuff going on, I'm about to build properties to sell and then rent some of them. Right? This is the new thing that I'm going to start doing starting this 2026. I'm not only going to start doing this in the U.S. I'm going to also do this in Liberia also, because I mean I'm 52, soon to be 53. I'm still a young man, full of energy, vibrant, and I'm building generational wealth for my children. right? Some of them appreciate, some of them don't appreciate, right? You know who appreciates you when you are down and they don't kick you, right? Because you would be surprised that the people that you think cares about you the most, as soon as you get down, they don't care about you no more. They start to kick you and push you and do all this other extra stuff, right? So that's why I thank God for bringing me in the direction for dividend investing in the last 5 years, right? Have been preparing me to get to the point where I can say, you know what, at least I can feed myself, I can feed my family, we can keep the roof over our head, and we ain't got to worry about getting kicked out. We're good there, right? We can eat, we got a car, we can drive around, we're good. Guys, this is so important. And you see a lot of people living in their car. People don't have place to stay. People living on the bridges because we never plan for the worst, right? I didn't plan for the worst. I was planning for my future. I was planning for my best life to be able to live. Today I woke up and I forgot it was Sunday. That's tell you the peace that I have, right? It's kind of bad too because I don't even know what day of the week it is. That's crazy, right? And yesterday was Saturday. I woke up, I'm like, man, I need to go check the market. And I look at my phone, it was like 9 something. I was like, oh crap, the market's already open. And I see the big old SUN on the phone. I'm like, it's Sunday, man. I'm tripping. Guys, this is what it is. Peace. Peace of mind, right? And me being able to live in this country, having 2 properties, 2 pay for properties, and spending, well, now that my daughter tuition I added into the thing, and I added the like groceries and stuff we spend every month. It's about $1,200 a month now. I added before I had the cost separate. Now I added them together for Colombia, so it's about $1,200 a month. But that cost is gonna drop because once we stop buying stuff, that cost is gonna drop because it's only 3 of us. So at some point it would be 2, just my daughter and her mom when I go back to the States or when I travel to Africa. So that cost for expenses, it might go up because I'll probably be eating out more when I'm not home, and running the streets compared to when I'm home where we'll be eating a lot at the house. So I mean those things is varies, but still, $1,200 a month for your whole house expenses plus food. $1,200 a month. Daughter tuition for school, not college, but private school in Colombia. Food, light, water, gas, internet, $1,200 a month. Now, if I was paying, let's say if I was paying for rent, come on, they increase our HOA. So if I was paying for rent, we would add maybe another $250 to that because I pay HOA due. So you would add another $250, maybe $275 to that. And that's still less than $1,500 a month. Okay, that's for rent, everything else included for $1,500 a month, and still have money to go out to the movie theater, to go out to eat, to do anything else you want to do for $1,500 a month, and pay car insurance for a year. Car insurance for a year is like $100 some for liability or whatever you want to call it. And then I got to register my car. That's another $100 and something, maybe $110 we pay a year. It's more expensive here, but to get a check and get the stickers, all that stuff. So I got to do that when I get back the next day. But this is all the different things, guys, that goes on in the back end. But if I cut off my entire U.S. expenses, right? If I cut off my entire U.S. expenses, take the 2 properties I have in the U.S., sell those, and throw that money into my portfolio. And when I say put in my portfolio, I'm not talking about going into the crazy high yield stuff. I can just leave where it is and then buy enough to pay me $100 in all of my other positions, guys. Oh, it don't have to be all of them $100, or some of them $50 or whatever. But I'm just giving you an idea. If I have to do that in all of those other positions that I have, it might not make it to all of them, but I can leave everything the same and take the rest of that money and put it into those things that are going to be generating cash, right? So imagine having 60 positions, and every one of those 60 positions, right, is generating $100 a month. What will you do? What will you do all that? Huh? What will you do all that? That's $6,000 every single month, not including what I would get from my extreme high yield stuff. Because this money I'm talking about nothing have to do with extreme high yield. Okay, this is just my other positions that have 3%, 4%, getting them up 10%, 9%, getting them up to generating $100 a month. That's it. So even with that, $6,000 a month from my other positions, and I'm still collecting another $4,000 or $5,000 a month from my extreme high yield. Now we talking. Now I can be like, you know what? We're gonna double that from 100 to 200, and then 300. Because at some point, guess what? I don't need 6,000. I don't need 5,000. I only need 1,500, or even two. That's it, $2,000 a month. And in 2 weeks, I can collect that from my extreme high yield, and I'm still getting 6,000 plus a month from my other positions. So guys, there's so many ways to skin this cat. Okay, guys. Another day of motivation, another day of me sharing my life with you guys and letting you know that, hey, if I can do it, right? I'm 52. I started this 5 years ago. If I can do it at 52, right? Or what, 48, 47 when I started doing this? Going on 6 years now. If I can do it, what about you? What about you? If I can do it, so can you. And guys, all you gotta do is start. VTI, VOO, VYM, SCHT, JEPI, JEPQ, GPIX, GPIQ. Those are what? 8 positions. If you got $100, you can split it up between those guys. Right? You can put $10 in each one of them, and then the rest you can put $1, $2, whatever. However you want to break it up. You can split that $100 between those positions. And then every month, you don't gotta do every week. Or you can do every 2 weeks when you get paid, you can put $100. Or you can say you can put $80, $10 in each, or $12 in each. However you want to do it. Okay, you can do that. Every 2 weeks, you put $12 in each of those positions. Every 1 month, you put $12 in each of those positions. And that's it. That's how you get started. And guys, I tell you, there's one thing anybody who is a dividend investor will tell you. Dividend investing is like a drug. I'm telling you, it's like being hooked on alcohol or cigarettes or whatever, nicotine or whatever. Because once you see that nickel turn into 2 nickels, and then 3 nickel, 4 nickel, guess what? Now you start to think like, what? That little $100 I put in there, that's what now done turn into $5 in profits, right? Because when you invest in that kind of small money, guys, guess what? You're not thinking about NAV erosion, right? You're not worried about that because it's so little. You can spend that in 1 day. You can spend $100 in 1 day, in 1 hour. Go into a restaurant with a beautiful woman. You can spend $300-400. But if your portfolio, your small portfolio, is generating some cash, right? It's generating some cash that you can see it growing, not at an alarming rate, 5%, 7% every month, 8% every month. That's the rate. Is whatever those 6 positions, 8 positions added together. By the time you break them down, you might be somewhere between 3 or 4, 5% yield, somewhere in there. I don't know the total, right? But with those positions, you can just, people say, oh, I can put my money in a what you call it, a money market account that pay 5%. Yes, but you're not going to get growth. You are not going to get growth. You're going to get a flat 5% or 4%, 6%, whatever it pays on an annualized basis, right? And then break it down into 12 months. So every month you get $1 or whatever. You're not going to get growth. But if you put that money into what I just told you is, they got growth in there. So they might grow 20% in 1 month. So that your $12 might grow 20% in 1 year, or 15% in 1 year in those different positions, right? And you might get 8%, 9% yield in one position. You might get 2% in the other position. You might get 1 point something in the other position. But that 1 point something that you get, you might have a growth of 23%. So guys, don't just think about the returns, especially when you're starting off and you have a long way to go. Like me, I need money now, right? Because I have to take care of my responsibilities now. But even though I need money now, I'm still thinking, hey, I can manage this to where it works out, right? And it works out in the long term. So I have to arbitrage, right? Instead of living in the U.S., I can live 5,000 in the U.S. I got a house, right? I got a car. So if I cut all my other expenses, right, and just take care of my house, my car, 5,000 is enough to take care of me and my family. We're not going to live the best of life, right? We got a big old house. Yes, light, water, gas is going to kill us with 3 people in there. But guess what? We live in comfortable. I eat rice. I'm Liberian, so we eat a lot of rice, potatoes. Every now and then we'll go out, do our thing, and we'll be good. My girl go to work. She want to work, go get a job, and she got to work. And now she's going to be hating me because I be at home and not doing nothing. But hey, this is life. But even though I'm providing, but they don't see it that way, because she see it now. You're like, you home all day, you're on the computer. What are you doing on the computer all day? But this is how we survive, guys. Okay? This is how I express myself. This is how I get things out. Because there is a language barrier that we have, because of course I'm not fluent in Spanish. I know basics, and she's not fluent in English because she learned the basics. So a lot of times things get, translated wrong. I might say something that she thinks she understands. She'll be like, okay. Just so I give you a for example, we came with the suitcase. I was like, okay, get the people the other suitcase, and because the wheel is messed up, the other one, the zipper is messed up. I said, give the people those 2 suitcases with the bad zipper and the bad wheels. The one that have the decent wheel, we're gonna take that back to Villavicencio. So when I'm going to the States, I can take that with me, and I can bring stuff back for Eddie in those. And she said, okay. Guess what she did? She kept the suitcase with the bad zipper and give them the other 2 suitcases. I'm like, but that's not what I told you. She's like, oh, I kind of understood that, but I didn't understood it. I'm like, it's okay. Just get the suitcase back. Okay. So these are the kind of things you have when you're in a language barrier relationship. Now, a lot of things are good because when she fussing at me, I don't listen. I get she because I don't care. And when I'm cursing, when I'm using the F-bomb, she understand that part. But everything else I'm saying, she don't understand it because she's like, whatever, he's mad. That's one good thing. But guys, I'm not here to give you relationship advice, okay? I'm just here to motivate you to invest in your financial future, okay? Dividend pilot is coming. I haven't talked to my folks in about 3 or 4 days about the dividend pilot because I've been dealing with other issues. Tomorrow is Monday. We'll see how the market goes, and then I believe tomorrow, whatever some of the bugs we have in the dividend pilot, I will talk to the developers and see dividend pilot right here. You see the sign, dividend pilot is coming in 2026. I would talk to the guys and see what we need to do. I think right now the issue we're having, from what I've seen, have to do with the sync, automatic sync. Is one of the issues that they've been trying to fix, and I just got frustrated. I'm like, y'all need to figure it out, okay? Because it need to be fixed. Because if that's not fixed, that's one of the biggest part of the product, right? When you sync up your account with your broker, that function is not. The sync goes through our third party, but then it's not coming back to where we get to pop in to log into the brokerage website. So that has been fixed. And as soon as that gets fixed, we'll be ready to test the product. And once that gets fixed, then we'll be able to push out the product, because I mean that's the main one of the main things that allow easy, especially like me, I have multiple portfolios, right? It's hard to sync up your portfolio. You have to manually upload, download. I don't want to even do that. Even I was like, man, we got to make all the accounts to have that sync feature. Because right now I think that the free account down, of course, because you want to have a limit, right, of so many positions you can add. But so people can manually do that. It's free. But the paid version should be, if you're paying, even the basic should be able to allow you to sync. So that's something that I've been working on with the folks to make sure that it's fixed. So by the time we get to testing, guys, I think I'll be the first test dummy before once the thing is done, I'll stop using it anyway, right? And you guys going to see, and then other people are going to be testing to make sure that the product works, and then change some of the features. Even the other day when I was talking to one of my friends about the product, and I was showing him, I was like, this. I was like, man, this wouldn't it be nice if we could automatically just put in the product like VYM and then hit enter, and it, just like you're doing like a search when you're doing search on the product, right? If you go to stock analytics and type in VYM and hit enter, it brings up all of the details of VYM, right? So I'm like, wouldn't that be nice if we can do that with this product when you're managing your portfolio? So if you type in something, instead of having to manually put everything in there, it should automatically pull everything into your portfolio, right? Or if you're doing a portfolio scan, you're setting up a portfolio where you need to scan stuff, and you running analysis on different things. You're creating like a small custom portfolio outside of your portfolio. Hey, I want to try this and see if it's going to work. But instead of purchasing the positions, you can create a portfolio, right? It's no other tools have this. So I'm telling you guys about this. You can create a custom portfolio within that and run a test, and it will give you all of the numbers, right? The distributions, the yield, and all that stuff in your little test portfolio, right? So if you're like, you know what? Okay, maybe I need to adjust my portfolio to this, right? And it's something else that you don't see, right? We're gonna, I'm gonna leave that for now. I don't want to give too much out because people are listening. I want people to be like, oh, we need to implement this into our product. No, the guys who are gonna use this product, guys, just like I'm excited talking about this product, I want you guys to be excited to talk about this product, because this is not gonna be something you buy and that's it, just stuck the same like that. No, we're gonna improve on it based on your responses. Okay, based on your responses, we're gonna improve on this product. If not weekly, if not monthly, it will be quarterly when we do our quarterly update on these products, okay, for different fixes and stuff like that. Okay, guys, so with that said, I've talked almost an hour, guys. Can you believe I have talked almost 1 hour? You see, I can run my mouth when giving. Okay, guys, I just want you guys to know I love you guys. Remember, Dividend Passport is not going anywhere. Okay, we're just gonna get bigger and bigger with time, and financial independence is key, no matter how you look at it. With all this stuff that's going on in the U.S. right now, the people that are able to leave and escape, and I say escape, people that are able to leave and go and live in other countries with a little bit of money. Guess what? They have their little bit of money coming in every month consistently, so they can leave and go live in another country, and they don't have to worry about money. They can put the effort and time into something else, create new business, generating income, because they can say, you know what, I can go 5-6 months. If I don't make no money, okay, because I know I have money coming in and I can build something, eventually that's going to surpass whatever money I already worked on to get to. Okay, guys, stay blessed. I love you guys. Hopefully tomorrow the market will do good. Next week, hopefully the market will do good. January, hopefully the market will do good. Okay, as we continue to build generational wealth, guys. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Stay blessed. Stay out of trouble. Happy Sunday. Peace out.